Yo, welcome back. This is Sue42 with another Minecraft video. First up, small apologies. It's been a while since I've made a video. Unfortunately, I've got a bunch of real life stuff, all good things. I've got a new house in the works, I've got a trip to New Zealand on the go. I've managed to get myself a new job in there as well. So the videos have been a little bit sporadic. Hopefully, we'll be able to start picking up making some more of them again soon. Who knows, the new job may actually be fairly busy. But today I want to make some bee stuff. So bees take quite a bit of time, and I generally, I don't start them anywhere near as early as I probably should, just because they do take a bit of time. And they've changed a bit since last time. So we're still going to be using the genetics mod, or what's become the genetics mod, and you'll recognize the names of a lot of these things if you've seen my previous bee tutorials, which were probably a year and a half ago. So, the isolator's still there, the sequencer's still there, polymerizer's new, inoculator's still there, the lab stand's just the base block to build the rest of them. Analyzer, I think we had a version of that. Incubator, I think's new. GenePool, definitely had before. Acclimatizer we had before, and the splicer, unsure. I think we had it before, but I didn't really use it. I think we used the inoculator last time. But anyway, this episode, I just wanted to get the GenePool running, because it is not a straightforward thing anymore. You can't just get the GenePool and throw bees in it and make some DNA. You actually have to run it with ethanol, and I think there's some bacteria stuff as well that you need to put in there, so we'll get that going. But the ethanol we need is the forestry ethanol, which is 4 millibuckets to 1 millibucket in a refinery. It's going to a quarter, that's not that great. Still 10 to 3, cool, so we're going to use the still. That gives us slightly better ethanol. Both need biomass. Biomass we're going to get from the fermenter. I'm probably just going to use the saplings, because we have a tree farm and we end up with saplings. 3 different things we can put in the bottom. We can either put mulch, compost, or the fertilizer. Now mulch, you can craft it, or you can do this moistener thing. It can potentially be done, and we do have wheat, just the moistener takes extra water and extra stuff. Fertilizer relies on appetite, which is, I guess it's not limited. It's sort of unlimited. I mean, you have enough of it that it lasts a while. But I think I'm going to use the compost, just because we have some wheat growing already in a farm upstairs, and dirt. Dirt we're getting from the sludge boiler. So the sludge boiler does produce us a little bit of dirt. Either way, we shouldn't need enough. Shouldn't need much of that mulch anyway. So down here we've also made a few changes. I've expanded that platform. I've put some power in over here, ready and waiting for us to put some bee machines down in this area. Put this false floor in. What else have I done? I've made this molecular assembler here, just for things that are over here. So sugar, growth medium, which we're going to need later on, and the compost, which we're going to use. So I'm going to run away, do my disappearing act. I will come back with a still. We're going to get a still. We're going to get a fermenter. So a fermenter, a still, and a GenePool, and hopefully we'll be able to hook it all up with everything and get our ethanol and the DNA stuff running. And we'll find out what else we need as well. I think it's a bacteria type stuff, which means we might need to make some what they call incubators as well. So a lot of things are made in this incubator. It can be used to make the growth medium. It can make some bacteria stuff. So bacteria, so Bini core. So there's polymerizing bacteria, there's bacteria vector, and there's bacteria. So they haven't updated the NEI for the bacteria that well. So it looks like the incubator doesn't have any NEI stuff, but we'll get to that. I'll be back in just a sec anyway. Hopefully we'll get the ethanol and a bit of it done, and then we'll see what else we need. So see you in just a bit. Okie dokie, let's get this stuff happening. Just while I'm up here though, I just thought I'd explain, I actually screwed up when I made this platform to begin with. You guys may have figured it out when you watched it before, but these things, because they're in my hole in the ground, they're underground, which means a lot of the bees won't run down here. Now, this one happens to be, yep, underground, but it also happens to be Valiants, which can run underground, so that one will be fine. This one here, I've made a temporary, as you can just see there's a temporary hole through, just so that it can see the light. Oh, they're full anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And this one here happens to just catch the corner of there. So hopefully once we get some of this stuff happening with the GenePool and incubators and bits and pieces, we'll be able to start putting traits into these bees. The first thing I'll get to that after we get this next bit done, and that'll allow them to run underground anyway. So what I've decided is I've got an Everfull Urn, I've got a still, I've got a fermenter, I've got 4 incubators, and I've got the GenePool. Bit of a car going past outside. I've also got a bunch of the smart cables, so let's just throw some of that there. Let's close that up. Yep, cool. Just so that we can go out the other side for this. Awesome. Cool. Alright, so what I'm planning on doing is we'll put the GenePool out this side somewhere. Maybe, well, we're going to have to get a lot of stuff mixed with this GenePool. So we're probably going to have some incubator stuff along here. The GenePool we will throw maybe there, which means we're going to need the ethanol stuff to come out from the wall. Now, ethanol, what did we say we're going with? We're going with the still, so let's put, yeah, actually we might go, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a mess. It's going to be a bit of a mess. So let's throw the still in there. We'll make a gap down to here. Oh, it's actually further than I thought. Alright, so we're going to do this. What are we going to do? Get some of the stone. Wow, I'm going to have just enough to get to there. Awesome. So that's going to go there. We're going to have the... Actually, we don't even need it to go that far, to be honest. I think we just need to go here, because we're going to need the fermenter to go there. Okay, so the fermenter is what's going to need the water, and we're going to need power to this as well. Wow, this is going to be a bit tricky to get everything hooked up. Let's just give ourselves a bit of room to move, because we're going to need power first and foremost. She's going to need power for this as well. You know what? I've changed my mind. I'm going to have the still here, and then not the centrifuge. We're going to have the fermenter there, which means we can go down here. Ooh, redstone. Awesome. I'm getting short on redstone. That's pretty awesome. Alright, so we're going to have power running along to these guys. So let's go. Now I'm going to do this a little bit further down, just so that I can tell where the power is from underneath. So might as well grab that while we're here. Bit of iron, never went amiss. Let's just throw that in there again. Power, up to there, here, and there. Right, so those two are now powered. We're gonna come out of there. Awesome. So we should have a bunch of power now for these. No fuel. Right, so we're going to need water. Now doing that lower actually helps us because we can have our Everfull Urn there. I have some fluid ducts to go there. We have a servo to go there, and let's make sure it's just ignored. Cool, so that's water in the fermenter. Now we're going to need some mulch in here as well as... Oh, now this is going to be interesting. I wonder if it puts this around the right way. Now, we're actually going to need the fluid duct to come out the other side as well into here, and then... I've done this... Running out of space here. Maybe I should put them out in the middle of the floor. Alright, so that's our fluid duct, so that's going to come out here to provide our ethanol out the other side. And that is just going to need biomass to ethanol. Yeah, cool. So that one's going to be absolutely fine. We just need to get ourselves sorted with that. So let's run over here. We're going to need an export bus. Yes. Let's throw those in there. We're also going to need some add-on cards for it. So we're going to need a capacity card, which I think is a Certus quartz. Yep, capacity card. We're also going to need a crafting card for this. Yep, which is the same. And then we're going to need some mulch. No, what should we call it? Compost. Compost is the one we decided to use. So let's just quickly get the first bit of compost to seed that through. We're going to need saplings. So what have we got a lot of saplings for? We've got a ton of jungle saplings. So let's grab that one out. Now I'm hoping this will put things in the right place. We're just going to have to see, unfortunately. So we're going to put the export bus on the back. No, let's put it on the top so that we can see it. Okay, so export bus is there. We're going to need the crafting card because it's going to need to craft the compost, and the capacity card so that we can put both the compost and the jungle saplings in. And hopefully, yeah, there we go. So it is putting stuff kind of in the right spot. And we're making some biomass. Awesome, so it's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. The compost looks like it's going to last for ages, so let's just make sure those are going down. The saplings, that is. The right ones. Yep, so they're getting used up. Awesome, so I might throw that in there. We can throw that behind. I don't really care about that silver because we have a ton of it already. And they can go there. Awesome, so we have biomass there. That's now filling up nicely. Once that gets to the top, hopefully we'll see some more compost there and the crafting card will start working. Yep, there we go. Going up 4 at a time. Awesome, so now that that's happened, we can throw the other servo into there. Set that to be ignored, which will put the biomass through to here. Our still is now going to produce some ethanol. Awesome. Now I haven't looked at the GenePool yet, so apparently, so it needs something in there as well as a bunch of ethanol, as well as being charged. So let's go down to here. You know what, I'm going to remove that one just so that it looks a bit prettier. And now we need the energy flux duct. Well, I'm going to have to make some more of these soon. Let's throw that there. Okay, so we now have power. We can now put drones and things in here, although we're going to need something in there, and I think we're going to need this ethanol. So there we go, we're getting some ethanol through. Let's throw another servo in there. Hooray! Cool. So now we're getting ethanol. Now we just got to figure out what the heck this thing is in the middle there. Now, from the shape of that, it looks like it's going to be the. I think it's like an enzyme. Yeah, so we're going to need the enzyme. Now, I'm going to have to go away and research a little bit on how to do that. I know we use the incubators for that, but there's a bit of a funny combination of how that works. So I am going to be back in just a moment, and we should get the last bit ready, maybe along here, getting some stuff into there so that we can finally produce some DNA. And that'll be it for this episode anyway. It'll be more than enough, I think, for this episode. So I'll be back in just a moment, and we'll finish the last little bit of this off. See you in a sec. Okay, back once again. We have these 3 incubators here, so it's going to take a series of 3 of them to get this done. I've powered them up already from underneath. We're also going to need to have, well, we're going to need to have a few things here. So we're going to need to have some smart cables across the top. Well, they don't have to be smart ones, they can be whatever cables you want. This is to put some things into it. This is going to be a bit of a mess with cables, I'm afraid, so I'm gonna just move that across. Now, am I gonna have enough channels? This is always gonna be the issue, because I need another 3. Oh, just. Okay, so I'm gonna have to add some heavy duty cable going up and down there, I think, at some point, but for now this is gonna be just enough for us to grab the 3 that we need. 1, 2, 3. We're also going to need our 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 crafting cards. Awesome. Now, this is where it gets a bit interesting. So we're going to need to have some of the growth medium, which I've got in the auto crafter. Now, that is just a bone meal and a sugar. That's there. We're going to need to have some wheat. Actually, the wheat won't need the crafting card, so we're gonna have a spare crafting card there. That's right, and some sugar. Now I have got sugar on AutoCraft as well, so I will need the crafting card for that one. Now, let's hopefully get this sorted. So we're going to need to have export on that one, export on that one, export on that one. Awesome. The crafting cards are going to need to go into the first one and the third one. Now, the first one is going to take the growth medium, and let's throw it in there. The second one is going to take the wheat, so I'll throw the wheat in there. The third one is going to take the sugar. Let's throw the sugar in there, and that should fill that up. And now this is where it gets a bit interesting. So we're also going to need, where is our fluid duct? So water. I've put them over the side in the end because we're actually going to need to run some water across to that one. And I wanted to reuse the same. There we go, the same stuff there. So this is going to make us some growth medium. Now that's going to have to go to the next one and to the next one. So let's grab our wrench just so that we can make it pretty. Stop that from connecting. Now put the servo in and set that to go next. Now that's putting growth medium into here. Growth medium combines with the wheat, and that is going to make us some bacteria. Now I'm going to need an item duct. So impulse item duct, yeah, sure. Grab one of them, and we're going to need to have another servo, so let's grab one of those ones. You can see that there. Here we go, it's making some sugar, making some growth medium, awesome. That's actually one of the reasons why I put that down here, just so that I could sort of see it doing stuff. Cool, so we're getting a bunch of bacteria. Now, we're also going to need, I should have put another servo over. So that's going to go across to there. Now, bacteria plus sugar is going to end up with insufficient, not enough incubation liquid. Right, so it's going to need a bit more of that. I'm going to grab another servo while I'm waiting. Now, one of my viewers in the last episode, Tim the TimeLord, I believe his name was, has suggested that I put a list at the bottom of each video of all the blocks I use. This is probably going to be a really good video to do that with, so I will put in the description of this video how many of each of these things I used, and hopefully you guys, or hopefully that'll help you guys. Awesome, so the ethanol's pretty much awesome now, and we're going to need to put the item duct there. This is not enough incubation liquid. Wow, it's going to take a lot of liquid. So basically what's happening here is we're having water and growth medium in there making our growth medium. The growth medium in wheat is going across to our bacteria. Bacteria plus sugar, there we go, we've made some enzyme. Now enzyme plus servo, ignored. Yay, we're getting some enzyme. Right, so we are now all ready to actually throw some drones in there. Now, we'll automate the drones being fed down to there at some point. For now, I'm just going to take half of these. Let's throw them in there to redo themselves. Seeing as I've got spare drones. Now, I just wanted to make sure this worked, really. So if we put those in there. Not the speediest thing, which is, again, why we want to get this done ahead of time, because we're going to need this stuff in the future. It's always good to start this sort of process first. And look at that, 10 millibuckets of raw DNA. You don't get a lot of DNA for drones, but you do get drones pretty easily, so that's why we're using them. Now I'm going to put that back there. And I think that's us pretty much done. This is, I mean, you could obviously make this a lot more compact, but you know, we have quite a bit of space here, so this is just off in the corner. Now we should be able to siphon off that DNA to, well, either a tank or whatever we're going to need it in. So over here is where we're going to start putting some of the other bee machines for, you know, sequencing and isolating those genes, putting them into serum vials, all that cool stuff. But I'll do that in subsequent episodes because I'm going to probably need this to run for a while off camera. Yeah, growth medium, we're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, pretty cool. Alright, so that's it from me for this time. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.